5 million iPhone 5 sales over the weekend. Is that sweet or sour news for Apple? Let's talk to Reuters PE Hub editor John Marino. 5 million iPhone 5 sales. As we said, stock is down 1.5% at Apple. What's going on?
You'd think this would be good news. Tim Cook thought it would be good news. The Apple CEO called it, quote, incredible. As a matter of fact, they're up 25% in terms of sales over their iPhone 4S.
Right.
It's disappointing because there was some analyst speculation that they could sell as many as 8 million now.
Never good enough.
It remains to be seen, I guess, exactly how long it's going to be until they sell those 8 million phones. Is this going to obviously impact their iPad sales? It remains to be seen. A couple of disappointing points. One of them was that after really failing to wow their users with Siri for 4S, now they're calling it Mapocalypse for the new Apple,
right?
And for the new Apple Maps. And
getting rid of Google Maps,
exactly how quickly they're going to be able to debug their apps for their users.
Okay, so what's interesting though is wireless carriers are not necessarily happy about Apple and the iPhone 5 because they subsidize them. They're so expensive. My 2-year contract's not up. I just lost my iPhone 4, and it's $600+ for me to get an iPhone 5. So they obviously subsidize those when you renew your contract, blah, blah, blah. But their profit margins are really steep, and it takes them about 9 months to make a profit with Apple, which is, it's 4 to 5 for the other smartphones.
Right. Normally, it's not on you. Normally, the price point isn't so high for the consumer. It's actually on the carrier. It takes about, I guess, 3 months longer to make profit off of an Apple user for a carrier because of the high price points for the iPhone 5. Now, obviously, this is something that could come down a little bit in the future, but right now it seems like Samsung and Galaxy are making things a little bit cheaper for them.
Right. They subsidize them about $400 as compared to about $250 to $300 for other phones, but you retain these customers and you're hoping that they spend more for data services.
And more mobile.
And more mobile, that's right. And actually, as a side note, this big riot at the Foxconn factory in China started as a brawl with some workers. 2,000 people were involved, and they shut down the factory there, and they assemble iPhone 5s.
Sour, not sweet.
Sour, not sweet, he says. Okay, that's right. Let's talk Facebook. Down 7% today. So everybody's been down on Facebook. Barron sort of makes it official. It says, like people, friend people, but stay away from the stock.
Right. And speaking of mobile again, they haven't really done enough to monetize their mobile users. It still remains to be seen if they're going to be able to maintain that rocket-like trajectory that they had over the years leading up to their IPO. As a company that's not dependent on mobile ads, they were downgraded by Barron's, and also venture capital firms still have about 10 or so weeks till they can get out of their stock. There still might be another price drop coming up.
All right, okay. Let's take a look at the Zuckulator. We can't talk about Facebook without talking about the Zuckulator. What do you think, Sean? Down 8 bill, still hovering around 10 bill.
He's still hanging on to 50%, right?
That's right. Okay, John Marino, thanks so much for being with us. I'm going to move to the hotspot, and as I do, I want to remind you to check out the type that crawls across the bottom of your screen for more headlines of the day. Now, joined by Ryan Blastelica and our markets master here. We're here at the hotspot where we talk about stocks that are moving, and one has moved so much. It's going to be our sole stock that we're going to talk about today because it's down 31%. Questcor. Now, this involves a major drug and an investigation, and the kind of story here goes back to Citron Research, led by short seller Andrew Left, to get things moving. Tell us what happened.
Andrew Left came out with allegations saying that one of the company's drugs, which had a orphan drug status, was being used, like it was approved for infant spasm treatment. And basically, Andrew Left said that the company was expanding this so it could be used for other things. That, of course, prompted massive declines in the stock of about 50%. Today, the company comes out and says it's being investigated by the government for its promotional practices. Didn't detail anything beyond that, didn't say which government agency was doing the investigation, nor be anything beyond like promotional practices. That's all very vague, and one thing market hates is uncertainty in government investigations into your company. So very bad for the company today, and I think he said the stock was down about 30%, so just a massive free fall.
That's right. Okay, let's take a look at the broader markets now and walk here to our market monitor. We've got some red arrows, Ryan, today, and we've got oil dipping to $110 a barrel.
Right. Oil has been sort of the secret story that people haven't been paying as much attention to as perhaps they should. It fell 6% last week, another drop today of about 1.5%. This is mostly on demand questions. Where is demand going to come from, just amid questions really about economic growth in general. We still have Europe as an issue, and today we had news from Germany, sentiment data that was very weak, so just another concern about that region. That's enough to weigh on us here, and especially enough to weigh on oil, and that's, of course, having an impact on energy companies today.
All right, but one bright spot, housing, which continues
Of all
to be
things.
of all things,
Yeah.
continues to be a bright spot. We had some good news from KB Home last week, and now Lennar.
Right, Lennar Corp came out this morning. They had results, and they had very strong growth in earnings and revenue and orders, which were up across all of its segments. So that's obviously very good news. The stock is down a bit today. It's down a little bit less than 2%. Mostly this is profit taking. Buy the rumor, sell the news. The stock has been up about 90% so far this year, so it's not completely unsurprising to see a little bit of a dip today, even on such good news.
All right, and we'll look for more indications on how the housing market is doing tomorrow when the S&P Case-Shiller Home Price Index comes out.
Right.
All right, he's Ryan Vlastelica in his smart guy glasses because he's a smart guy. Thanks to you and to John Marino. And remember, follow us on Twitter at Reuters Insider for more headlines, and check out our Reuters YouTube channel. That is Reuters.com/ReutersTV. I'm Lisa Bernhard. This is Reuters.